And we're back, and we're back. Hey everyone, this is Sipho alongside Ndima, and we got a special guest today, Mr. Luvo Sibuta, a good friend of ours, and probably will become a regular guest in the show. So just give him a warm welcome. And how are you guys feeling, man?
Feel good, man. Feel good.
Mm-hmm.
Thanks for joining us, Buddha. But yeah, it's great to be on for yet another episode, episode 10. But yeah, I feel good, bro. How are you gents feeling?
Yeah, I'm drinking rooibos, dog, and yeah, I'm just feeling hella bougie while drinking this shit. So I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good. Yeah, man. So today we have a very interesting topic, at our discussion, at our hands, sorry. So we're talking about sports betting, right? And just before I get started with that, though, I just have a very important message that I just felt like needs to be expressed. I came across this like on social media yesterday. So guys, if you see people posting purple hearts on social media, like there is a very important campaign going on Friday, which is Friday the 21st of November, which is next Friday, I believe. South African women will silence the nation, and we call on all women across South Africa to refrain from all paid and unpaid work in workplaces, universities, homes, and communities to demonstrate the economic and social impact of their absence. Sorry. We demand that gender-based violence and femicide be declared a national disaster now. So this is a message from Win for Change, and there's a petition that you can sign online to support the cause, guys. And we'll give you guys the link in the description, in the episode's description. And yeah, whenever you get a chance, just support the movement because this is a very important issue in our country. We've discussed it also before in our one of our episodes when Olorato tragically got killed. So yeah, man, this is something I feel like I had to talk about. I just had to get the word out there. And yeah, I signed my petition early this morning. So yeah, that's just something I needed
Mm,
to say.
always relevant. Yeah, it's a constant issue in this country, but yeah. Any action is good action, in my opinion, for as long as we continue to talk about this and address it until ultimately we can see some kind of positive change. But yeah, we're all for it.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out, guys. Shout out. So back to the regular scheduled program. So around the world, right? Online sports betting exploded after the Unlawful Gambling Enforcement Act of 2006 in the US, right? And it redirected how bets were funded, forcing operators to adapt, exploit payment loopholes, and expand global outreach. And then fast forward here in South Africa, the numbers are wild. Media reports claim we're spending 1.5 trillion on betting, but the truth is more complex. It's the same money moving in circles, counted each time it's wagered. So we're left with more than just statistics. We're looking at a system where the culture of gambling is deeply woven into daily life, where the stakes are about survival, risk, addiction, and where the social cost might be higher than anyone's admitting. So today we're asking, what's fueling this boom? How does it reflect what's happening in our economy, in our society, and where does it go from here in South Africa and beyond? And to help us unpack all of this, like I said earlier, Luvo is joining us today. So he is a jack of all trades and a master of all, an engineer, he's an entrepreneur, and someone who's actually been on the inside of sports betting, though he gambles lightly. So he's not one of those high stakes punters, but he's seen enough of the scene to have like a real feel of what's happening and how people are betting. And he's just going to give us a bit of his experience as to what worked for him, why he decided to place low bets instead of like going all in, and then just take it from there. So yeah, he's here to help us get into the numbers, the psychology, and maybe even the addiction behind it all, man. So let's get into it, gents. This is something that's been, yeah, man. The entire reason I even thought we should talk about this was I wasn't really aware how ubiquitous this phenomenon is until one day I was at the gym and someone randomly asked me, like approached me to help them set up their account so they could cash out, right? And while I was trying to help them, I realized that, yo, you need to actually upload your bank statement and your account number, because, yeah, you're dealing with money here. And that conversation, that exchange, really opened my eyes as to, yo, this is everywhere. So yeah, guys, it's quite a thing to talk about. I know Luvo, you dabble into it a bit, so yeah, can you just give us a bit of your experience when it comes to sports betting and like, yeah, what made you get into the whole culture?
Thanks, Sipho. Yeah, just a correction. I'm not an engineer. I'm a quantity surveyor. But yeah,
Oh, sorry.
as a finance grad, I try and research, not really research, but I try and equip myself with as much knowledge as I can possibly. Just to be able to hold a conversation with anyone, as you mentioned. Obviously, as an entrepreneur, in these networking events that you go to, being able to conversate in any topic is, something that I value very much. So yeah, man, sports betting for me, actually, how I got into it, I know someone that actually won 4 million rand and bought a house in midstream. I think this was about 2 to 3 years ago when I met the guy. He's a friend of a friend. So how he got into sports betting, obviously, it was obviously like playing the lotto. I mean, if you think about it, we all have been gambling in a way because I mean, sure, you guys have played lotto before. So I grew up with a parent who used to play lotto. So yeah, that's how I got into gambling. The guy actually put in a wage of about 80,000 to be able to win 4 million rand, which he bought a house.
Wow.
So that's what he does now on a daily. So he bets for a living because I think for him, he's probably cracked the code and he knows the ins and outs. Because I see there's also WhatsApp groups now for these type of things where people actually
Mm,
discuss bets and stuff. So I'm on Betway, so I just do it for fun anyway. I don't do it for a
mm,
living, or I don't anticipate to even win more than. I mean, the most I've won was about 25 rand because obviously I wage with one rand. So I do multiple
yeah.
bets. So if I bet for 10 teams, I wager with 1 rand. Returns can
Hmm.
go up to 1,000. I mean, the bet I lost yesterday, I bet 1 rand. Obviously, wasn't anticipating AC Milan to draw. Because of AC Milan's draw and obviously Liverpool's loss, I lost out on
Yeah.
1,200. But put in a wager of 1 rand. So that's what I do
Yeah.
normally on weekends, just for fun. I don't do it. No, I don't do it for a living. But yeah, it's interesting because
Yeah.
you mentioned that they anticipate it to be 2 trillion, which is not true because that's like almost more or equivalent to the GDP of South Africa. I think it's about
Exactly.
the gambling revenue that they receive, which they overinflate. I think maybe to get people attached, or it's how they market
Yeah.
themselves. Yeah, I mean, yeah. So for now, I think I'm gonna stick to just gambling for fun. Because yeah, gambling
Hmm.
it's crazy because also they sponsor the national team. There's a sports
Hmm.
betting company called 10Bet that sponsors Bafana Bafana. They do sponsor
Hmm.
some of I think Betway also sponsors the Springboks. So
Yeah.
these guys are really, really, going
Oh, I think it's Hollywood Bets.
for
Sorry. Could be Betway or Hollywood Bets, one of the two that
I think
sponsors the
it's Betway
Springboks.
because on the shorts, on the Springbok shorts, there's a Betway logo on the back of the
Oh
shorts. So I
yeah,
think
you're
it's
right. I
Betway.
saw. I saw. Yeah.
Which I don't know the difference between, yeah, Hollywood Bets. I know Hollywood Bets is sponsoring a team in the EPL though.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's Bournemouth or something. But they do sponsor a team in the EPL, and they were the first South African sports betting company to sponsor a team in the EPL. So for now,
Yeah,
I
I was
think
about to
I'm
say.
just gonna stick to betting just for fun, because it's crazy if people think they're gonna use gambling as to make a living because it's gambling, you know.
Yeah, before we dive into it deeply, right? I like that you mentioned you place low bets, right? Like 1 rand bets, and then the most you've made is 25 rand, which is a crazy return when you think about it. That's 25 times your initial amount. 20, that's quite a strategy. And yeah, you brought up a lot in what you were saying, and I also want to bring Ndima into this conversation just to hear what he has to say about his impression as to what's really going on in South Africa, and also the world regarding sports betting because it's crazy, bro. This thing is everywhere. People are doing it. Like Luvo says, some people are really using sports betting to earn a living. And yeah, dog, like what do you think about this whole thing? But also, what's your view on people using sports betting as a genuine strategy to make money and for them to generate a livelihood from this as their hustle, but also
Mm.
just the darker implications regarding the exploitation of the poor, because it's mostly poor people who use the strategy. Okay, not mostly poor people. Let me correct my words, but it's mostly people who are in a desperate situation, right? Who who use sports betting and gambling generally as a means of income. So, yeah, what's your overall take on that? And just let us know. Just let us know your thoughts, G.
Yeah, firstly, Luvo, thank you for joining the show, man. You said something interesting when you spoke about your approach to playing sports betting, which basically, as far as I can tell, it seems like you don't take it too seriously. You use it as like a form of recreation. You play it safe, which is interesting because there's some stats surrounding sports betting in this country that say that somewhere between 2023 and the 2024 financial year, South Africans were spending 1.1 trillion rand on legal bets, which is apparently 40% higher than the previous year. So it seems like when people crunch the numbers, it's like people are spending two-thirds of what went, or rather, two-thirds of that is what went into horse racing and sports betting. The question now is, why are so many South Africans spending so much money, especially those of us who can't afford to spend all that money on something that doesn't guarantee a return on investment? So there are some people who, like Uluvo said, who are playing it safely, who are doing it recreationally, and if they happen to win, then cool, but they don't really lose that much. But it looks like there's a large number of South Africans who are just betting as a way of life, as a way of trying to deal with the current economic situation. It's like Abandu are spending whatever loose change that they may have on trying to get lucky. And I think that says a lot about where we are mentally speaking about the desperation of Abandu trying to make a little bit of extra income, trying to get lucky. And to me, it's an interesting thing to think about because it's like, why are there so many people who are spending all their hard-earned money on something that is literally reliant on luck? Because I don't know much about sports betting, but I would like to know if is there an art to it? Is there a strategy that you can use to make sure that you're not losing that much money while whether or not you win or not? But it looks like a lot of South Africans are trying their luck and they're wasting a lot of money in doing so.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have a lot of questions. This is relatively new to me. My dad and I grew up. My dad played a lot of lotto, but he
Mm-hmm.
would never really like spend a lot of money on it. It was if you count it over like mhlawumbi over like the month or the year, it's a lot of money. But I always remember he played it safe. He always used to bet on like, he didn't spend a lot of money on it. But it seems like in this day and age with the explosion of betway and sports betting, and
Yeah,
it looks like a lot of people seemingly are trying to use betting as like as some kind of get rich quick kind of scheme, which is messed up when you think
Yeah.
about it, because it's like a lot of these people are in desperate situations. A lot of them have families. So when you count how much money they're spending on betting, it's like, how much are you wasting when you could have been
Mm.
investing this money? You could be saving it. You could be investing in your children's future. Kandi, here you are, when you're spending thousands, if not millions, and reportedly trillions of rands are being spent on sports betting. So now I can't help but wonder, where else could this money go? Like, that's more useful for black people in particular. Like, should black people be spending their money more wisely, or is betting harmless? I would like to hear and explore all angles.
Yeah, Ndima, before Luvo responds to his question, I would just like to clarify a bit on the 1.1 trillion figure that you mentioned. So when it comes to that figure, I read it's about 1.5 trillion. So
Mm,
that that figure is misleading, because
Mm.
it accounts for the 1.5 trillion, right? Accounts for every transaction made while you were betting. So every
mm,
bet that was made is calculated in that figure, and every bet that's made in that figure is also considering the amount that you used to bet. How many times did you bet with that same amount? So
mm,
you're accounting for the number of transactions made according to like the amount that you placed as a bet, and then they just timed that figure to get to the
mm,
1.5 trillion.
Yeah,
Actually,
it's not the
what you
revenue.
call, yeah, it's
mm.
not the revenue, but like
No, no, no. Yeah,
the
yeah. It's
the
just how
real
much
amount.
is being
Listen to me.
spent.
Yeah. No, like the real figure is about in the billions, because if you look at the amount of revenue generated by the gambling industry in South Africa, it stands at about 59 to 60 billion, sorry. So that's where the figure can be misleading. It's an attention grabbing tactic, from the media, because it
Mm.
hasn't been really verified by like the financial guys, the guys who are really in the authorities. So yeah, I'll just give it to you from there.
Mm,
Yeah. So, I mean, obviously, my answer is also based on opinion. It's not factual. So, I think if we look at how, as people and just in general as gents, how we analyze sports, I'll take my team, for example. If I look at my team, I normally think or consider myself as an expert to someone who knows my team, because I follow my team. I know the transfer news of my team. I know how well my team plays. And obviously, looking at the stats of my team, it would then give me that idea to say, man, I can actually make money of betting off my team, not considering the fact that betting houses are not designed to lose, you know. So even if I do win, I might probably win a bonus, which is money that I can't withdraw. Sometimes I do get those 2 rands, 3 rands of betting, returns, which I can't withdraw, which I obviously need to use to bet again. So I think majority of South Africans are football lovers, and that's where Betway I
mm,
think makes most of his money. Majority of South Africa are football lovers, and as I say, South Africans love their teams, and South Africans obviously because I know some of them or most of them buy the newspaper Soka La Duma, and they read upon their team. So it then gives them that opinion to say, man, if I know Kaizer Chiefs so well, I've been supporting Kaizer Chiefs for the past 10 years, I know it's going to win against Sikukune. And not knowing maybe that Sikukune on that day is well prepared and might more probably play better than Kaizer Chiefs, and Kaizer Chiefs will end up maybe missing a penalty or not taking its opportunity, and they lose 1-0, and a lot of people then will probably lose on that bet. So I think to answer that question, and Dima, is not really because they know what they're doing. Yes, it's mostly about luck most of the time because I mean, as I said,
mm,
a betting house is more like a casino. They're not designed to lose money, they're designed to
mhm,
make money. And if you look at the wages when you bet on a soccer game, if let's say for example, I'll use Liverpool and Man City. Liverpool has beaten Man City for the past, I think, 6, 7 times they've met. Last season, we put Liverpool beat Man City twice, home and away. So you would assume that obviously Liverpool's going to win the game, based on those statistics. And then when you place the wager, it'll actually give you more money if you say Liverpool is gonna lose against City. Well, it's probably a bad example because Liverpool did lose. Let's maybe take Liverpool and a championship team who are playing FA Cup. This team is not as famous as Liverpool. So I'd probably get more money out of the system if I say Liverpool's going to lose against a Charlton Athletic, maybe, or Brentford, whatever, but a team that's not currently playing the EPL. So that's how they lower them to say if you place a wager, it might give you more on this side than you probably get on actually betting on the team that will actually it's gonna win. So it is mind games in a way, but also I think in my opinion, as I said, this thing is based on luck, man. Even the guy I know that won 4 million rand, it wasn't his first
Mm,
time betting. He's been placing
Mm-hmm.
bets for a while, up until the point where he decided, you know what, I'm just gonna put 80,000 on a game that I know is gonna give me back a return, and that's how he pulled the trigger. So it's mostly opinion based. There's no way, man, you can calculate and win Betway. There's no way, So that's why for me, I rather keep it recreational, just do it for fun. Even if I do win, it's money that I keep there. I mean, because unless
mm.
I win more than 1,000 rand, obviously it's money I withdraw. But 25 rand, 30 rand, it's money I keep there, which I reuse for betting.
Mm-hmm.
That's my take on it.
Mm.
Very clear take. Ndima, what are your thoughts, bro? Hearing all of that
Yeah,
now.
yeah, like I agree for the most part, but it clearly is a game of chance, it's
Mm-hmm.
but then my concern comes in when it's like who is realistic about their approach to betting, It's like we have people who are more well versed in it, like people like Bafana no Luvo, but there are also a lot of other people, like I mentioned earlier, who are doing this out
Mm.
of desperation. They're not doing it because it's fun. Maybe they'll find it fun later on because they get hooked on it and they like the thrill. But the underlying reason for you doing this is because you need money. You're desperate, because maybe you're struggling to find work, and because of the cost of living and everything, you're trying to find an approach that you think is easier, and it's a more of a passive way for you to take a chance and make money, when the actual fact is that you're feeding into this industry that's making a crazy amount of money off of you, but your chances of actually winning anything substantial are very, very low. So I think it just circles back
Yeah,
to my question of what is the method? Is there a method? Even though we say that it's mostly luck, is there
yeah,
some kind of method that people who are more well versed in betting approach when it comes to engaging in it? There are some people who can be kind of considered career betters, if that's even a real term, as in people who
yeah. I feel you.
like more often than not, they'll make either thousands or millions of rands off of their bets. So surely there's some kind of approach to it. But again, I think that probably just speaks to the a small fraction of bettors. The vast majority of them, it seems, in this country are people who are just trying their luck. And in trying their luck, they're wasting thousands of rands that because when you like I said earlier,
Yeah,
when you tally up at the end of the year how much money you spent on betting as opposed to how much you made, it's like, is it equivalent in any way? If it's not, then clearly you're wasting your money. So it's an issue where it's like there are some people who know how to play the game. There are some people that seem like luck is on their side, but then for the vast majority of others, it's like, nah, you are just wasting money, you know, money that you could otherwise put it to better use. But yeah, I have a lot of questions about it, but at the same time, I'm very interested in it because I know for a fact that there are some
yeah,
people who play it wisely, so that even if you don't win often, it's like it's whatever. I spent a couple, rand playing
yeah.
this. It's
Like
like my
your, sorry,
mm,
just to interject there, bro. Like
mm,
your wins make up for the
yes,
losses you took. So you have people who win more than they
hmm,
lose, and they do that consistently. And I
yes,
think, I'm not sure, I'm just saying this from the outside looking in. I think what happens is that, you're always going to lose when you're gambling long term. Like the house always wins. That's how
mm,
the industry and the game is designed. You're always going to
100%.
lose, right? So I think the people who really excel, particularly when it comes to sports betting is a person who is well versed in their sport of interest. Also, someone who's well versed in their sport of interest, someone who really knows the know-how, who is really invested in their game and is always keeping up to date with the latest events, and a person who you obviously have to be good at gambling and probability to know that, right? And I think the defining factor as to the people who really win versus the people who use this as a strategy out of desperation is the fact that the people who really, really win are people who gamble with a lot of house money, just to keep in terms with gambling. So I think the people who use it recreationally, who use it with money that they can afford to spend, generally over time stand to gain more because they're not betting out of desperation. So their stakes are not too high. So they can afford to lose a bit of money here and there while making that big win, you know? I think that's what it boils down to. Because also what lures people is the language around the marketing of these betting companies, win now, bonus, bonus, bonus 50 rand, yeah. Like the language is designed, right? If that's the right word, it's 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 so intentionally put that way,
Enticing.
right? Like conveyed that way. So it makes it enticing, yes, like you said, and it also appeals to that part of you that enjoys instant gratification, that monkey on your back, So that's how you get hooked, and the whole mechanism that pulls you right into fast emotions, irrational decisions. That's how you get pulled. It's like a druggie, right, having their first pull of a very potent drug. Once you get that first hit, like it's kind of impossible to quit or not get hooked. So also people who are responsible gamblers are the ones who have an edge over people who what you call this end up losing out of desperation over time. I hope I answered your question to the best of my ability, but yeah, that's that's
100%.
that's 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 what I feel goes into play. Like this how this entire thing plays out. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Sipho, I agree, and I also agree with Ndima. It's the marketing. Yeah, the marketing is very effective, and sports betting marketing is everywhere. I mean, there's billboards at the airport, there's billboards at the highways. I mean, you go on your Facebook page, there's pop-ups, you go, so the marketing, for example, for me, I think it's how they win people over. It's brainwashing in a way. Like it's so crazy. They spend more on marketing because obviously they know people want to take chances. I mean, it's like how they advertise Lotto. People don't win jackpots every day. It's that once in a month where someone wins 100 million and you're like, no, I also want to share 100 million. You go and play, So the marketing is very on point. So yeah, I think it's also desperation. People are very desperate. The economy isn't doing well. And I mean, that's a topic for another day. Obviously, as much as I think it's intentional for the economy not to do well, because if you look at South Africa, how strategically South Africa is positioned, everything when it comes to the Southern Africa or SADC region comes through South Africa. Our ports are better. We've got better airports. So I think because the market or the economy isn't doing well, people are trying to find ways to make extra buck, and they think sports betting because they know their teams and they think they know obviously that type of sport, as Sipho said. They try their luck. So it also I think goes with luck. I mean, betting I think for me I'd say is 90% luck and 10% preparation because we don't know what's gonna happen in a soccer game. No matter how prepared one can be. Your key player might get injured and then the morale of the team goes down and the team might lose. So there's a lot of factors that you need to consider when placing a bet. But I'd say it's 90% luck and 10% preparation. Obviously, going through the stats, going through the past games of that team. But yeah, I think it's more about luck, eh?
Definitely, it's majority luck most of the time. And hey, man, I won't lie, I was seriously considering getting into sports betting, and but the more I just researched this topic, bro, the more I realized how messed up this thing and how dark it is, and how there's
Bro,
like almost no way out once you're in, bro, because you hear of so many stories of people who plunge into debt while they're doing
bro.
this. Like there's a story of a woman who ended up being being in debt, right? And what she started out like any one of us, bro, never participated in gambling whatsoever, but was lured by the ads over time, you know, and then within 6 months, bro, she's in debt of 600,000 rand,
Oh
and
my
at the
God.
time of this recording, she was in a psychiatric ward when she was being interviewed about this whole
Yo,
thing. So it's deep, bro.
yo,
It's
yo, yo, yo.
deep and it's really, really dark. So that's just a snapshot of what the impact this thing has that's really not being talked about because it affects a lot of lives. Families are
Mm,
destroyed. This thing is just as bad as being addicted to drugs, maybe a bit
mm,
worse because you're like losing money rapidly and you're not gaining anything other than like a dopamine hit when you win that bit of money. So there's a lot to it, man. And honestly, I think we need more regulation when it comes to, yeah, we need more regulation in the market. We need more taxing because as far as I know, like from the research, the gambling industry, the sports betting industry to be particular, isn't paying as much tax compared to other industries. It should be taxes
mm,
like sin tax. If you can tax people for buying cigarettes and alcohol, surely you can tax these guys for all the proceeds they make.
mm,
And I think it's also not not necessarily the government, but the private sector's industry. I mean, not industry responsibility to ensure that these guys are regulated, right? But also, yeah, to make sure to hold these guys accountable in terms of their social responsibility. I mean, you guys need to at least give back to the poor communities that you're making this money from. Like, open a mental health facility, like a rehab facility for people, for gambling addicts. Sponsor those type
mm.
of NGOs that are helping people. So there's a lot we could say about this, but just staying on this topic of sport, we've seen South Africa, what you call this? You've seen South Africa qualify for the World Cup, next year, which is hosted in the United States. And this is our first time qualifying since 2002, like actually
Yo.
playing and performing well enough to qualify for the finals, right? And by finals, I mean the tournament itself, not the actual final round. But yeah, man, it's a wonderful time to be South African, because man, this is gonna bring so much to the culture. This is going to just uplift the country so much, bro. South Africa competing in the World Cup.
Mm,
I mean, since 2010, we only qualified in 2010 because we were hosting it, but now we actually
mm.
got there by merit. So yeah, man, this is a wonderful time to be South African, to be a Bafana Bafana supporter. So yeah, guys, yeah, man, take it from here. I'd just like to
Yeah.
hear what Luvo thinks about this topic.
Yeah, well, I hope people don't put their houses on any wager for us to make it
Do
to the
not,
quarterfinals
do not.
or semifinals. Because
Like
we do
you.
have a very strong team. Like what you were
Mm-hmm.
saying about how dark it is, just to backtrack a bit, I mean, there's teams that get people that get paid to lose matches to sway a bet, So there's
Yeah,
also
there's a
that.
lot of match
And
fixing.
people, there's a lot of that goes on and people don't think of those things. But yeah, coming back to South Africa, it's a proud moment. I mean, think about what you just said. For us having been qualified for such a long time. And also when the coach came in, he was very strict and he had a game plan.
Mhm.
kudos to him, I mean, for sticking to his game plan, because I think for him to not to listen to local coaches, because I think that was the detriment of South African football at the time, because the head coaches were swayed by the agents and the local coaches to say, no, you must pick this guy, regardless of the guy performing. Because at some point we did have a good team on paper, but majority of the guys were not performing in their local teams. And when the new guy came in, he said he's not going to listen to anyone. People that are going to play for the team are going to play based on merit and what they're currently doing for their local teams. And if you look at majority of the South African national team for the past 2-3 years, it was, I think, 90% of Sundowns. Sundowns was doing very well. Sundowns was winning leagues, was winning cups. It was winning. I mean, they even played CAF. I think they won the CAF past 2 years. So it was based on merit. So he picked guys that were playing. So that's why, I mean, 90% of the team was Sundowns, because Sundowns has won the league for how many years now in a row? They are a good team, you know. So I think very excited, man, for Bafana Bafana. I've been also looking at how much the tickets will be. I think it's not possible for some of us to go and attend. But for those who are there in America, I hope they do get a chance to witness the boys play there, because that's definitely one of those achievements to be proud of as a country, especially when our rugby team is doing so well, you know.
Exactly.
And we can't be known for just a rugby nation, whereas we have other sports. I mean, PSL is one of the best leagues in Africa, you know. So we can't have a good league and not have a good national team, you know. So yeah, I mean, it's a great achievement for Bafana Bafana. I'm looking forward to them. I hope they do get to play a quarterfinal. I mean, group stages, we might get away with group stages, but I don't see us going more. I think far further than semi-final. I mean, I'm not taking anything from our team, but I mean, looking at the teams that have already qualified, the competition is stiff.
Competition
It's
is
very
tight,
tough.
bro. Yo,
Yeah, it's very hard.
Yeah. Sagqibela
it's very tight.
ngo-2002. That is wild, though.
Yeah,
To think
Korea,
about.
Japan.
Qualify.
Korea,
Japan.
Japan. Like, do you
Korea,
understand?
Japan.
That was the era of Lucas Khate. Like, do you understand how long
That was the
ago
era
that
of
was now?
R9. Yeah. It was the
Yo,
era
Was
of
Lucas Radebe even in that team, bro?
yeah.
Was
It
Lucas
was the era
Radebe
of
even in that team?
R9.
Oh, 02.
Was
Yeah, more on R9. But Lucas Radebe was even there. Hadn't he retired by that time? Like,
had he already
He
retired? Why
was.
do I remember him in
think so.
02?
Or was he?
Yeah, I think that's
Nah,
the
nah,
year
nah, nah.
Joma was coach, wasn't he? Yeah,
Yes,
Yes.
Lucas Radebe
yes,
retired after that. Yeah, I think he was the senior
Like,
player. Mark Fish as
yeah,
well. Yeah, I think Lucas Radebe was there. I think it was. If not there, maybe Aaron Mokoena was captain, but it was a long time ago.
yes.
but
Bekono
Yeah, I
to
Cyril
think
what
Aaron
Nzama,
Ndima
they
is
Mokoena was
were
saying,
around.
captain.
maybe, ne? But to what Ndima was saying, bro, like, that was the era of Lucas Radebe, John Shoes Musheu,
Yo,
Pule,
Cyril
Siamo
Nzama.
Mbe, like, dog. Like,
Yo,
these
yo.
are the people we got introduced to when we started watching football. Like, that's how long it's been, you know? 2010 happened, right? But
Mm,
also, like, Dira, dog, like, you have 2010 that happened, right? And you saw how big it was, how much it uplifted our society for that
mm,
for that time being. And like, what do you expect the culture will be like next year, bro? Seeing Bafana Bafana like progressing, like doing well in the World Cup.
it depends. It depends entirely on their performance, because it's one thing for us to all be on the hype train and be ecstatic about them actually qualifying, but how far they can take it is what it depends on completely. I can
Yeah.
see Abantu sort of losing interest quite quickly if Ibafana only really, if they don't go very far. But if we can actually push it, then I think that's what it all relies on how much
Mm.
hype there's going to be. Because I think there's also that mentality today where people have sort of written off Ibafana, and no one really cares as much anymore. Not unless you're like a die-hard footy fan, but Yeah,
Hey,
it
bro, that's
depends.
changing, hey? That narrative
It
is
is.
changing, bro. Since qualifying, it's been
Yeah.
changing. But I get you.
But again, it depends how far can Ibafana push it. I think that is what
Definitely.
we definitely have to rely on. Because people can check
Mm-hmm.
out pretty quickly if they're like, oh well, they qualified, but how much further can you take it?
Can I tell you, like, as you were talking, bro, what was going through my mind? Like,
Mm,
dude, I'm literally imagining what's his name, Chabalala, bro, when he scored his first goal, when he scored the opening goal of the World Cup, bro. How crazy of a
mm,
moment that was.
mm,
Now, imagine South Africa qualifying for the next round, something we've never done. Oh my goodness,
It'll be a moment.
my
It'll truly be a
goodness.
moment, bro.
Bruh, can you imagine that Luvo dog, South Africa qualifying for the quarterfinal? You know, we already see how it's like when the Boks win the World Cup. Now imagine Bafana just qualifying for the next stage.
Yeah, no, that would be awesome. I think it starts with the support from us. The guys are good.
Yeah.
The team is very good. I mean, if we can introduce initiatives like the Bok Friday, where everyone is wearing a Springbok jersey on a Friday, regardless of the Boks playing. If we
Mm,
dedicate a day, even if it's Bafana
Mm-hmm.
Monday, whatever, just for them to see that we are behind them, I think that will go a long way,
mm,
Mm.
because
Bafana
moral
Monday is
support
a
does.
bit catchy.
Yeah,
I like
moral
that.
support
100%.
does wonders. If you know, even if you look at as ads at TV, anything. I mean, I know for a fact. Let's say your child is performing at a school concert. The first thing they look for is you in the crowd, and once they see you there,
Mm,
in-nerves are out of the window. So now they can see, okay, my parents are here. Let me just have fun, or let me perform. So for us, not being able, I mean, not, I'd say majority of the country is not going to be able to go and watch them. The best we can do is to show them support. Like a dedicated day, like a
mm,
Bok Friday. It would be awesome funding for them to qualify for quarterfinal, because it will
mm,
prove that Uguba Bafana Bafana is not dead. Because yeah, like Ndima said, people have written the team off. People don't care.
mm,
But funny thing is, when the coach came in, even the stadiums were half empty or empty. But now stadiums are packed. Tickets are selling
mm,
out. It goes to show Uba they do believe in the team. So I think it's up for them to take it. I mean, I'm not saying they will win it,
mm,
but those guys play
mm,
very well. They play very well. So we need to, as South Africans, just support them.
mm. Bafana also probably needs a visionary coach like Rassi was for the Springboks. Because when you think about Rassi as a coach, Rassi isn't just extremely competent as an athletic coach, but he also brings something on a spiritual level that really built up the box. I don't want to say from the ground, but also, as Luvo said, it's also the backing of the nation that really fed into the fire of the box. So eh, Bafana needs the same treatment. I think Bafana Bafana needs a visionary coach, but it also needs the
Yeah.
backing of the nation, because without our support, they're nothing. You need that fire behind you at the end of the day.
Of
Definitely,
course, I mean,
definitely.
Bafana also deserves a documentary. I mean, the box has a documentary on Super Sport. I mean, I think it's season 3 now. You know, chasing the sun.
Yeah. Dating the
So it's
sun,
it's
yeah.
Mm,
those small things, bruh, that motivated that team. That team was motivated not just by winning, because they were winning. Before they went to the World
mm,
Cup,
Yeah.
they had beaten New Zealand. They had won the rugby championship. But the support, yeah, no, support will go a long way. It's time. It's time for us to support, because the cricket team is also getting support. But I don't think Bafana Bafana is getting same support or same level of support as the cricket team and as the Springboks. I mean, it's a debatable thing, but
mm,
I know for sure Boks get more support than any other national team in this country, which they do deserve. I mean, they've got 4 World Cups,
Hey,
2 in a
bro.
row, going for 3 in a row. But I mean, come on, Bafana Bafana has an AFCON as
mm.
well, so we need to support them. You know,
Hey, bro, the
because
proof is in
Proteas
the
have never
pudding.
won any
Listen,
World Cup before this, and we were
before
supporting
the
them. We
Mm,
never
test.
gave up on the Proteas. So I think support is what they need. Moral support.
mm,
Yeah, I hear you with that, but I think with what you guys are both saying is that people had checked out of Bafana because of the decades of losing. It was like Bafana was Bafana losing was a culture, bro. You know,
It
you
was the black
remember
sheep.
Ufigelemba, dude. They were the black sheep of the family, straight up, the black sheep of the family. And you even have Fikile Mbalula's infamous or famous quote when he called them a bunch of losers, bro. That's how frustrated he was. We were just losing. Time is brah, bunch of losers. Yeah, bro. Iconic speech, dog. When I need a good laugh,
Imagine,
I listen to that. Yeah, yeah, bro. Goes in, bro. Like, yeah, Hutina, a bunch. What I saw was a bunch of useless, unbearable individuals.
bruh, Rich coming
Yeah,
from
but
him,
I
but
mean,
anyway.
Sipho,
No,
from a
no, no. Like,
minister,
let me
that
finish.
shouldn't. Yeah,
Yeah, but like I'm just saying, like that's how bad it was, right? So it's only now
yeah.
that they start winning that we're getting behind them. So us even talking about them is just proof that the tide has changed. The tide has turned, times have changed, and people are getting behind Bafana because they're winning. We've qualified to to play in the World Cup, right? Like by merit in such a long time, and it's such an awesome feeling, especially as a football fan, a football lover, and supporter of the game, to have your national team, represent you in a World Cup after such a long time. And speaking about Rassi, I like what Ndima said there. I think this coach, is the guy. He's produced the results. I believe he is the guy. But also on an administration and bureaucratic level, South Africa definitely needs a sporting director like Rassi, because look what he's done for look what he's done for the Springboks. Prior to him,
Mm,
some of us had even boycotted supporting the Springboks because there was a lack of transformation. And like 10
mm,
years later, the Springboks are, 3-time world champions, back-to-back champions, like Luvo mentioned, 2-time rugby championship winners, and they just keep getting better. And what a wonderful occasion it was over the weekend to see Siya Kolisi celebrating his 100th cap, representing the
mm.
Springboks, the most successful Springbok captain. His win rate is about 72%, if I'm not mistaken, which trumps everyone else. So, did you watch the game, Luvo? How did you feel about the Boks playing such a wonderful game, like one man down, and Sia also like celebrating his 100th cap?
Yeah, and I watched the game. Obviously, the French crowd not giving him a standing ovation after he walked out. And I think they're still
That's
bitter
crazy.
of what we
Yeah.
did to them. But yeah, I mean, as also the commentator said, this is the best Springbok team. This is the best rugby team in the world. I wasn't surprised
Yeah.
after our performance because I knew after that yellow card, if we can get a try, the momentum will come back. And that's what we did. We got a try
Mm.
because we were 14-14. And then obviously when that guy came back, it was already too over. It was already too late because the
Oh
momentum
yeah, the
had
yellow
been
card from
pulled.
France. You mean?
Yeah, so they got a yellow card and then
Yeah.
we tried while it was 14 on. Because that's what we needed. We just needed another try to separate us from them
Mm-hmm.
because we were already leading, you know. So yeah,
Mm.
no, I mean I wasn't surprised, as I said, Springbok team. But if you also look at the videos of Rassi in the documentary, how he speaks to the guys, you know,
Mm.
there's a lot of
Yeah.
facts, but at the same time he also reminds them. Yeah, there's a lot of
Whoa,
facts, but
they
he
came
also
out
reminds
crazy, but
them
yeah.
he reminds them of
Yeah,
who
go
they
ahead.
are and why they're playing the game and why they wanted to play the game at that level. I think it's also the motivation from him, similar to what I
Mm-hmm.
just saw. I mean, a video I saw of Vincent Kompany, the coach of Bayern Munich. He's training. Yo, I didn't know the guy was so brutal. Also, a lot of fucks. He shouts, he swears. And I mean, look at Bayern Munich and how they play. He tells them straight out, if you don't
Yeah,
want to
they
play,
intense.
get the F out of my team. I'm not here to entertain any moaning. You said you want to play at the highest level. This is the highest level. So show me what you have. You know,
Mm.
So yeah, I think we need something like that in the Bafana team. Someone gonna tell them straight up front. I think Hugo Bros is very chilled. Haven't heard him curse, but I think
Yeah.
because he's a foreign, he's more of strategy more than cursing.
Mhm.
But yeah, his strategy is working. Because the guys are motivated, man. I've never seen a Bafana side that's that good. You know, I mean, we've
Yeah.
had teams that were good on paper based on obviously the players that play overseas. But if you look at this team, 90% of the team is local, you know?
Yeah.
So
And that
I
speaks to
think
how strong
if you can get
our league.
a motivator like Rasi, you can go far.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, the Springboks did very well this weekend. As I said, I wasn't surprised. I think our biggest competitor will be, except for New Zealand, will be Wales and Ireland. That's if we will face them. But yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing them win more games, man.
Yeah, I was about to say that, like, just touching on the footy, what you said about 90% of South Africa's starting lineup being coming from local teams. That speaks to how strong our local league is, the PSL, because you also find that you have Sundowns that wins the CAF Continental on the regular. So it's we're in a very good place as South Africans when it comes to our sport at this moment in time, and we can only do better. We can only take it further from here, and it needs people like your Rassis, your Siakolisis, your Temba Bavuma, another phenomenal story of the Proteas, who after such a long time of heartbreak that they finally won a major international trophy. We're in a good place in South African sports, and yeah, just sticking to sports and in football, like we saw today, I mean, not today, sorry, over the weekend, a few results from the Premier League, and, you know, Liverpool losing to Manchester City 3-0 away at the Etihad Stadium. You also had Arsenal drawing 2-2 to Sunderland, which was a very, very intense game, but also very thrilling, which speaks to how tough the competition is in the Premier League right now, Luvo. The matches you've watched this weekend, like, what did you think? We'll start with the Liverpool game, or we can start with the Arsenal game. Up to you.
Let's start with the Arsenal game because the Liverpool one is still burning, still hurts. I'm a diehard Liverpool fan, and people think I support Liverpool, or I started supporting Liverpool when Jurgen Klopp came on board. No, I was part
Mhm.
of that generation of supporters that were laughed at. We never won a Premier League title before Jurgen Klopp, but we were doing very well in Europe. I mean, Champions League,
Mhm.
Benitez was doing us wonders. So yeah, the Arsenal one, I'd say, yeah, it really goes to show because I think the team they drew is a team that's coming from the Coca-Cola, or you want to call it the Championship or second division of the EPL. It's a
Mhm.
recently relegated team, which is funny because sometimes these recently relegated teams come in as underdogs and then they end up winning big games. If you look at the time
Yeah.
Leicester City came in and won the Premier League without losing a game. So I think for me,
What do you mean by not losing a game?
they won the Premier League without losing that season.
Nah, but they were
They never
unbeaten.
lost.
Nah,
They were
that was
unbeaten. They
Arsenal,
drew
bro.
a couple of games. No. They drew a couple of games, but they never lost. I mean, you must go and check it. But what I'm trying to say
I
is
can look it up.
Arsenal lost.
Yeah.
You must check it. Arsenal not really lost, but for me, in their heads, it felt like a loss to them. If you saw how Gabriel was disappointed, I think they took the team for granted. They weren't clinical in their defense. But I mean, like you said, it goes to show on how competitive the Premier League is. The Premier League
Mhm.
is one of those tough leagues where you can't really say a team's gonna win or convincingly. I mean, look what happened to United
Mhm.
against Tottenham. You know, Tottenham thought they had it 2-1, and then boom, last minute goal. So Premier League is one of those leagues where you always you always know that you're gonna get entertainment. Coming to
Yeah.
the Liverpool game, for me, it was disappointing because as much as the players didn't seem to be, up for the challenge, but I think it goes to morale, what we've been talking about. And people don't understand.
Yeah.
I mean, especially if you've played sports, you've played rugby. If a ref is not on your side, it does play a huge role in your morale. Obviously, your attitude towards that certain game. If you look at what happened, they were given a penalty, which was, in my opinion, a penalty
Mm-hmm.
because Doku just fell on his own. Doku is one of those players.
Yes, yes, I saw
He's
that.
quick.
Yeah.
He's quick. He wants to. But for me, the guy just fell. It was a minor touch for him to go and fall not even 5 meters, not even 2 meters away from the knee of the goalkeeper. But for me, that wasn't a foul. It wasn't a penalty. But obviously, justice was served. Karma got to them. They missed the penalty.
Mm-hmm.
But it was already too late because the morale of the team was already down. Then it went even further down when their goal was disallowed. So it was then, what's the point? For me, I saw it on their faces. It was like, what's the point of playing if nothing we do is gonna be, good enough, or nothing we do is gonna be pinned against us? Also, coming to one of the VAR referees is the guy who's had a lot of controversy surrounding him, Michael Oliver, to a point where he was even in a battle, or he was not even a battle, he was arguing with Jurgen Klopp at some time, over social media. Michael Oliver is a very controversial guy, and for some reason, we always get him as a ref, either in VAR or him on the pitch, against these teams. Because I think, in my opinion, as a Liverpool fan, the fear is that we will get to 21 Prams before they are so-called Man United, which has always been the favorite of England, So I think that's the conspiracy I want to put out there, to say they just don't want us to get to 21 Premier Leagues before Man United does. And it's not going to happen. We will get to 21 before Man United does. And we will be the greatest team in England, because if you look at the
Yeah.
other cups, we are leading in every other cup. We've got 9 Carabao Cups. No one has 9. We've got 6 Champions Leagues. Most of them have 2, 3. So if we then get number 21 of the EPL, we'll go down as the greatest English team. And that's what they don't want, because the king also supports Man United. So, for me, it's one of those.
Exactly, bro. Exactly. And yeah, I hate to do this, bro, but I had to fact check you, dog. And Leicester, they lost 3 matches, right? So they lost to Tottenham, 2-1 at White Hart Lane, and then Arsenal. I remember that's why I was like, nah, bro, I had to confuse you there, because
No,
I
that's
remember
good.
them
Fact
losing to
checking is
Arsenal.
good. Fact checking is good. I was
Yeah.
under the impression that they never lost.
Arsenal's the only team that like never lost, that went
Never
undefeated
lost.
in the Premier
Or
League.
they're
Yeah.
invincible.
They're the only team. The Invincibles, yes. That team that won the gold Premier League trophy. So yeah, they
Yes.
only lost 3 times. Yeah. So they only lost 3 times.
Only
Leicester
lost 3
City,
times.
that is 3. So they lost to Arsenal, Man City, and Tottenham. But
Nice.
it was one of those. If you had made a bet on Leicester City winning the league that year, oh my goodness. That's
You'd
all I
made
can
a
say.
million.
No one saw it coming. You would have made hundreds of millions. No one saw that coming. You know?
Dilly
A
din, dilly
team that
dog.
had bro, a team that had got promoted not too long ago in the Premier League, and then they fuck around and win it. I remember watching every game that season, and I started paying
Yeah.
real attention after the December period. I was like, if they can keep the lead after December, nah, they're winning it, which they did, bro, because that's the toughest period in the Premier League. And
Yeah.
they got it done, bro. They got it done. I remember that team. You had Jamie Vardy, you had N'Golo Kante, you had Danny Drinkwater, you had the captain Wes Morgan as well. You had Kasper Schmeichel, Peter Schmeichel's son, who used to play for
Yes.
Manchester United. Yeah, that is a
Had
sensational team.
Mahrez.
Mahrez as well, one player of the year, exactly. Yeah, they were just deadly. They were deadly, and they played with such a high intensity. Like they just never got tired. Those guys just kept on running. So it's hard to beat a team like that. A team that keeps running and never gets tired and that just keeps pressing you. It's really hard beating a team like that. Yeah, that was such like an interesting segment that we just had there. But just to shift gears, we've been keeping up with the Madlanga Commission, and yeah, it's been pretty wild, pretty wild, pretty explosive. We know where we left it the last time. We were talking about Senzo Mkhunu being implicated. General Kwanazi had given his testimony. We saw from the latest headline. I'm just reading off the latest headline, ENCA. Like on day 8, Dumisani Kumalo, the head of crime intelligence, revealed the existence of a syndicate known as the Big Five that has allegedly infiltrated politics and law enforcement. While the country watches, the pressure's on. So, can this inquiry lead to real accountability, or will history repeat itself? So, we've heard a lot in this commission. There's been a lot of revelations, explosive revelations from Jerome Kwanazi and his team, also the commissioner, General Kumalo. So, yeah, where have you left this commission? How far are you in terms of following? Yeah, what do you know about the latest? What has been your impression?
Man, Sipho, this thing has been, for me, jaw-dropping since it started. And thank God for Mkwanazi. I always knew South African police were corrupt because where we come from, Mthatha, we know how corrupt the police are. Well, I personally have, or know people that are friends with the police and how corrupt and how criminal they are in terms of car thieves. Because most of the guys I used to go to school with, I ended up, some of them, getting involved in stealing cars and all such things. But most of them were close friends to either traffic officers or policemen. So I always knew, but obviously without facts, to say SA police is very corrupt. If you look at also the drugs in Mthatha, the drugs are sold so easily. I mean, it's accessible, it's everywhere. And yet the police are doing nothing, which means some of these guys are probably selling for the police. You never know, So with the latest news of Sibia being involved that deep is shocking, to also see the car that picked up the money is the same car that's been found at his house when they raided his house. So this thing is scary at the same time. You go to wonder if a criminal such as Ket Matala is funding politicians, where does it end? I mean, we must not forget, obviously, how ANC was founded and how ANC gained power. We know ANC was involved in illegal activities. It was a nuisance to the apartheid government, obviously, for the right reasons. ANC was using drug trafficking routes to get weapons into the country. We know that, right? But no one actually imagined that thing remaining in the ANC, because after we got our freedom, you'd think that, no, man, these guys will probably, do better and go about getting money, in cleaner, better ways. Because I mean, there's businessmen that stand to guarantee, or not guarantee. There's businessmen that stand to obviously
gain from this, yeah.
To gain, yes, to gain is the right word I want to use. To gain from the ANC. So by going out there and raising funds, like hosting a gala dinner, selling tables, that's a good way of making money. Not relying on drug money or, it's crazy. It's shocking. So just those top 5 guys, why would a Hawk's head be phoned directly by a criminal? I don't have the number of a Hawk's head. I'm not a criminal, right? But why would a Hawk's head be called when the criminal's house has been raided by the police to say what's going on? Send your people here. So, man, there's so much to say about this thing, but to sum it up, when I see people, it's shocking. It's scary that we live in a country that's run by crooked politicians that are involved in drug dealing, in the killing of innocent. I mean, look at that lady, Babita, who was a
Babita.
whistleblower for the Tembisa hospital. You know, she got murdered and nothing else was said about her in the news. I mean, people forgot about her already. You know, they're focusing on Ket Mathala as if her life was not important. I'm not even talking about Aman Swartz, who was killed, but that lady, after seeing the looting of the hospital, and if you look at that hospital, people go to that hospital, never come back. It's a shitty hospital. It's one of those run down hospitals in the country where if you go there, you know you're not gonna come back because there's nothing. There's no equipment. You know, it's crazy. And people are living off luxury lifestyles. That's crazy. You know, like that's why I'm saying thank God for Mkwanazi. But there's rumors that Mkwanazi is also at some point, you know, what's the right word? Not
Is he
implicated, but
implicated? Yeah.
yeah, I mean,
Involved.
he's got his own skeletons that he's protecting. That's why he decided, let me just go public with this thing to shift the focus because he's also in a lawsuit with one of those guys, the white guy. Now I forgot his name. He's a very famous private investigator, man, this guy. So
Oh,
we've been
I
back
know what
and
you're
forth.
talking about.
Sullivan or something like Paul O'Sullivan.
O'Sullivan. Oh,
Yes.
yeah. I think
Yes.
he's suing
So
O'Sullivan.
exactly. So Paul O'Sullivan
Yeah.
sued Mkwanazi, and Mkwanazi sued Paul O'Sullivan because Mkwanazi is
Fact.
claiming
Yeah.
that Paul O'Sullivan has access to classified information. We know this because Paul O'Sullivan was actually working with Jackie Silebi, if you remember Jackie Silebi,
My
who
goodness,
was
bro.
the top cop at the time, you know. So I think there's a lot that's going on there. And this Madlanga Commission for me is similar to the previous commission. It's just our
Zondo.
president trying to buy time for himself while he's busy completing his mission as a president, because obviously he has goals that he's set for himself and he doesn't want stuff like this affecting those goals. So I think this is just a delay tactic because if you know there's someone who's guilty and there's evidence, it's simple. You fire the person, you arrest the person. Why go through so much trouble? Waste state funds back and forth. I mean, come on. So that's
Yeah,
just
can I
my
tell you?
opinion on the matter.
Yeah, just before you have your go, Ndima, like what former President Thabo Mbeki had said about this whole drama, this whole episode is the fact that if because Mbuyiseni Ndlovu asked him in his podcast as to how would he have reacted and handled the situation if he was still president, and he says that the first thing he would have done as president is to set a private meeting with Jerome Kwanazi and Fani Masimola. Those two guys, they would sit down and he would ask Kwanazi to just let it all out. Like, let's have a conversation. Tell me the truth, the entire truth, what's really going on. And then me as the president, I will see where I take this. But just having that initial dialogue with Umkwanazi, as the president would help you get an understanding. Okay, this is what's really happening. This is who's being implicated, right? This is like based on if you're clean as the president, right? And this is not to say because we don't know if he's really like implicated or not, or Ramaphosa if he is implicated, right? But like if I'm clean as the president, that's the first thing I'm doing, and then I'll hold my press conference with the public and just telling them that okay, this is what has happened, this is what I know, and this is what we're going to do going forward. And the fact that Ramaphosa failed to do that, right? Because he was overseas when news broke out, right? And it took him about 6 days to a week to come back to the country. Like something of that nature, bro. Like everything has to stop for you as the president, right? You need to attend to this because this is a serious crisis going on in your country. And so once you get that out, then you take it forward. But Dima Dog, how crazy was it to see Ushedrek Sibia, if that was him, right? I think it was him, yeah. Like to see him on CCTV accepting money from Ukate Somolefe. Like if that was
Dude.
money, like thing is,
Dude.
this is wild, bro.
Wasn't it Sergeant Ngosi? who was caught on
I
camera
think so. One of
receiving.
the two.
Yes.
Yeah, it was serious.
Him. Yeah.
Such,
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Him. Of course. Yes. 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 Of
Yeah,
course.
caught
Yes. Yes. Yes.
red-handed receiving a package in a white bag. And it's like, but on a side note, it was funny how I'm not sure who it was, but he referred to the gift as we like when he said you can't see what type of chocolates are in there.
Yeah.
I'm like, Nick, can you take this seriously? we
Sound
can't
art,
see
dog.
what
Sound
type
art.
of chocolate. I'm like, yeah, gents, we are cooked. Everything's a joke, bro. But like, yeah, my takeaway from everything so far is, hey, the clock is ticking, gents. Because like when you think about the implications of all of this and how serious this is, it's like it's our moment, and I think I've said this in a previous episode. It's like our moment to actually clean house, as much as we can. And what we've seen so far is wild. It's even kind of surreal to actually see people live on camera taking bribes from people who are involved in criminal activity. Like Ukat is someone who was even involved allegedly in the death of UTJ somebody. And yet we have
Imagine.
members of police receiving gifts from people like this. And it's like, guys, why are there so many members of state having close ties with people with criminal pasts? Even Upegikele, one of the developments is that Upegikele, he was on the stand and he was talking about how he attended a taxi boss's funeral, and when he talks about it, he's like, there were more guns than roses at the funeral. And I'm like, bro, why were you there, umbuzo wam? You were the police minister, and yet you're openly confessing to having been invited and accepting the invite to a taxi boss's funeral where you yourself confessed that they were armed to the teeth. And it's like,
Bro, you know Neakepa?
the rot, and the most shocking part is how matter of factly he said it. He said it as if there was nothing wrong with what he did. He doesn't even recognize that by virtue of him being there is an issue. So, the rot runs
Bro,
deep.
can I tell you what this is with what you're saying with Upegicele? Remember how big of an issue it was when Floyd visited Ubushiri in Malawi?
Mm-hmm.
And for Upegicele to talk about his invitation to the funeral nonchalantly, it just speaks
Casually.
to how
Doesn't care.
how bad and how rotten the culture is of corruption.
No
in this
shame,
He
country.
doesn't
like,
care.
Yeah,
no shame.
bro.
I mean, this should be an opportunity to clean house. No one is getting arrested. I mean, everything that's been revealed at this point is enough for people to be arrested. But
Exactly.
we're just tiptoeing around the fact that no, this guy got bail. No, we're gonna go back and arrest him. But why did you
Cracking
release him in the
jokes.
first place? Because you know the guy was involved in the killing of a DJ.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yo,
It goes to show,
and-
well, it goes back to my statement that when I said that this thing of destroying the economy, I think it's intentional. If you look at how unserious our politicians are when it comes to
talk about it.
not just the looting of funds. Yes, looting is normal for them, right? But now, when you talk about killing of people, these guys don't take that serious at all.
Bro.
People are dying, and for them, it's nothing. I mean, if you look at the politicians, not just the civilians that were killed, we talk about abantu abanjengoSindiso Magaga, a politician that was killed because she was standing in the way of tenders. She was a municipal manager who was standing in the way of people who want him to loot. So it's not about tenders anymore, this thing. It's just about, it's a mafia state, man. South Africa's.
It's
It's
crazy,
a culture
bro.
of corruption. It's taken root everywhere
It's a
from
culture
from
of
the top
corruption
down.
and murder.
We've
This
normalized
is how
it.
drug dealers operate. I don't get what I want. I kill you for it.
This is Narcos in real life.
Straight up.
If you've watched the Pablo Escobar series, this is Narcos in real life, bro. Like we're Colombia, and we're being controlled by these drug cartels, and you have politicians who are bought into this, and the common man just suffers, bro, as a result. Unfortunately, it's always the case. And the fact that, guys, yeah, and I think Luvo talked about this, the fact that you guys choose to deal with to deal in your corruption with drug money, instead of like hosting gala events or any other like money laundering scheme. I mean, you guys are corrupt, we get that, right? But like, you deal with drug money. Do you know how dark and seriously evil that business is, bro?
Bruh.
Like, people get murdered, homes are destroyed, families are ruined, people are like the consumer, the actual druggies, the junkies, you're destroying their lives and everyone else around them. And you have politicians, people who are
Exactly.
custodians of our nation,
Mm-hmm.
who are actively welcoming these guys and destroying our country. That's the messed
Remember
up
when
thing
I
about this
rem-
whole
remember
thing.
when I talked
Mhm.
about crimes against humanity? About how
Yep,
what they're
this is
doing
it.
is
This is treason,
literally
dog.
treason. When you
Yeah.
consider the impact of their actions, it's literal crimes against humanity because you're looting state funds and you're using them to be involved in criminal activity, funds that are supposed to help the people, the poorest of the poor, and yet here you are living lavish, cozying up to shady individuals, receiving gifts of patronage, attending funerals of mob bosses, and you're state servants.
Bro,
Crimes against humanity,
Imagine.
bro. That's the only way to look at it.
bro.
It
These are
is.
war crimes, bro.
No one's gonna get arrested. I mean, I can already see it. No one's gonna go
Yeah.
to prison. It's probably gonna be a few people. I mean, if you look at the Zondo Commission, only
Yeah.
the guy from Bosasa got arrested, and he was the
Yeah.
whistleblower. In all of this, they
Imagine,
managed to arrest
bruh.
the whistleblower.
Yo,
So it's crazy.
cooked. We are
So I don't
cooked,
see
shit.
anyone getting
Yo.
arrested in this Madlanga Commission. I don't see anyone losing their job. What I foresee, probably they're gonna demote him. They're gonna put him in parliament in a portfolio committee or somewhere, because look at the guy from Digital Vibes, Zwelim Kizi. He was
What
caught
happened to him?
red-handed.
He was implicated in so
He-
much.
He's in parliament. He's heading a portfolio committee in parliament. He's the one
Imagine.
deposing local municipalities on where the money is going. There's a video surfacing around where there's this local municipality in the Free State. Those guys blew in one financial year 150 something million on salaries alone.
What the
So
fuck?
he was asking, tell us what you do as a municipality. Don't just say you offer services. Which services do you offer? And the answer was, no, we are a special local municipality. So he never got fired. ANC don't fire their people. They just
never
reshuffle you somewhere. Yeah.
Yeah, because
I mean,
we all
if you
have
look at
dirt
the
on each
guy from
other.
exactly, the guy from Northwest, they called him Supra
Oh,
something.
yeah.
Very corrupt, very corrupt. They actually appointed him to go to parliament. He's in parliament. Before that, he wasn't a member of parliament. He was so corrupt to a point where they're like, nah, actually, I think they actually want people that know how to take money out of the system, because those people are beneficial to them, because those millions that go out is how they get to live their lifestyles. So if you
What kind of shit is
are
that?
famous or you are known or you're good at looting, you're actually an asset to them if you look at it that way.
Your
Yes.
looting resume is impressive.
Yes, if you know how to loot and you get money out of the government, you're an asset to the ANC, because you can fund the party. That's how I see
Ndima,
it.
please say what she say again.
Your your resume of looting is impressive. Like we laugh, but it's so fucked. It's like it's that deep, bro, where it's like that's what I'm saying, like this Madlanga Commission is our chance. If
Bro.
we screw this up,
Yes.
let me not even say we. If they screw this up, and if they don't take this seriously, and if they don't attack it aggressively, we're fucked as a nation. That's my belief, and that's because we've never had an opportunity quite like this before to tackle corruption and to actually
Expose
show
it.
evidence and expose exactly.
Yeah.
If we screw this up, we're cooked. That's my perspective on this, because we're never gonna
Yeah,
get
we
another
are.
chance like this again. I don't
See
think so.
banana
We are.
state. Like, see banana state, bro. banana. Like
Literally banana state. Because
when they were joking about it's a chocolate, I wonder what chocolate. I'm like, what do you mean, fam? Like, CP.
I mean, no, man, you know what he was getting at, man. Like,
I
you
know,
know
but
what's
it's
in
like,
there, dog.
I just mean the tone of it. It's like, can we take this shit seriously? Like,
you can tell he's
like,
not serious.
exactly.
Yeah.
Even the Guns N' Roses thing, when Upegitele was like, yeah, there were more Guns N' Roses, and then one of the members, one of the MPs were like, haha, Guns N' Roses, like, we get it, there's a band called Guns N' Roses, but like, guys, can we stick to the point
Be
here? Like, this is
sensational, bro.
serious.
Like we love sensationalism as South Africans. He just
Too
wanted that
much.
moment to be sensational. To say
Too
about
much.
and yeah,
Yo,
for Nin, it was Guns Roses everywhere.
Hey, there's Guns N' Roses. And you know how Peggy talks, but almost. He's like, there were more guns. I'm like, yo, guys. Mm-mm.
Now we're
But
cooked,
yeah,
bro. But
one can only hope that we can actually see some convictions. But if the Zondo Commission was anything to go by, then it's chai. I don't
bro,
see
can I
the
tell
clean sweep that we
like
want is not gonna happen.
can I tell like as with everything you just said, guys, right? And the way we're just joking about this right now, and we're all hoping real action happens from this. That's how like everything just gets swept under the rug in the country. Like, people find a way to make a joke out of it. That joke becomes the narrative, and once we get distracted by the joke, things just disappear. They just like goes up in smoke, like nothing
the-
gets done.
The jokes are how we normalize it, and when we shouldn't be doing that. We've normalized this
Crazy.
culture of we're corrupt, haha. Anyway, so onwards. It's like, no, guys, can we deal with this? Can we take this seriously? Like
Bro.
people are suffering as a result of this corruption and looting. People are suffering. Can we
Bro.
treat it as if that's the impact? Not like constantly making jokes and like haha, as if we all low key know that this isn't gonna go anywhere. Because that's what it feels like. It's like
Exactly,
an
bro.
inside joke where it's like we're corrupt and that's all we're ever gonna be. We can pretend like we're gonna, take people to court and convict, but realistically, we know that's not gonna happen. That's like what it feels like right now.
Talk about it, bro.
Yeah, no, these guys don't take us serious as a country. They don't take us serious as a country. And that's sad, because I think also that thing of ANC has been holding against us for the past years. No, we gave you freedoms. You guys now can go to, multiracial schools. You guys can go to university. You guys can travel. You guys can buy property. It's as if now they are saying, you guys owe us. So we don't have to answer to you, We don't have
They're laughing in
to
our faces.
declare anything. I mean, look at Paul Mashatile, 43 million mansion in Cape Town. The guy earns less than 3 million a year. How can you afford such a house?
Guys.
And he's got 3 properties that are expensive,
Yeah, bro.
So, just to sum it up from my side, Madlanga Commission is a joke. I really hope that
we
it is a
laugh,
joke.
but it's true.
It's true.
No, let's get it.
It is because, like I said, from the get-go, from the statements, from after Mkwanazi presented his statements, people should have gotten arrested, but no one has arrested.
Yeah,
Up until now, after the first testimony of the guy who's the national commissioner, after his testimony, people were supposed to get arrested.
Bro, it's supposed to be a rap, like it's live on
Sibiya-
camera.
After Sibiya went to parliament and he couldn't answer questions, I mean, after they proved that he didn't even pass the psychometric test, he should have been fired.
My God.
But he's not fired. So that's why I'm saying, based on those things, I take this thing as a joke. And I really pray that, our country, I pray for our country.
Yeah, bro. This country needs to be put under rice, bro. Honestly.
Under rice.
Yeah, under rice, bro. It's a lot, bro. But like, with everything you guys have said, it's like this country is so corrupt. Things really, 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 really need to get done. And yeah, if this isn't, what I was gonna say is that, bro, there's just so much mounting evidence. Is that the interim report is supposedly coming out soon. Like, if nothing happens, like once the interim report is done, then we're cooked because it's like we've gathered
Yeah.
enough evidence like to lock these guys up. There's an interim report coming, and then there's going to be another report that's going to come after. But like interim report, I'm assuming is going to state everything that's been found in the commission, the charges implicated against these guys. So we'll just wrap it up with the final in due time. But like, if nothing happens, then come on, bro.
Like, do people realize how
let's just
much of
stop
a
talking.
turning point this is? Like, are we
Bro.
aware of how much of a turning point this is? Like the outcome.
That's the
If
thing.
nothing
People aren't
happens,
really aware. They don't
yeah,
understand
like,
how
People
serious
aren't
the thing is.
aware.
They're
or do
not.
they not
They don't
care?
under-
What's
What's the
like?
what?
Do people not care? Like, no, I mean, like, do people not care?
It's apathy, bro. That's what it is. Like we've checked out. We've checked out, bro. We've checked out because it's like this is what the culture is. This is how we've been brought up. This is what we see every day. If you try to fight it, bro, that's your losing battle. So it's like,
Exactly.
bro,
There's nothing
that's
no one
what
can
it is.
do.
Nothing you can do. Yeah. So
Shit.
like I said, guys, this has been another amazing episode, Luvo, thank you once again for joining us. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. Nice banter. And this has been episode 10, bro. I don't want to say, can you believe it's episode 10? Because we've been doing this and we've been anticipating we'll get to episode 10. So that sounds kind of corny. But yeah, we've learned a lot along the way. And I know Ndima wanted to say a few things, but with me, first of all, I just have a lot more respect for people who are in media and do this like on a seriously professional level. Like, it takes quite a bit of work to do this. So we're just learning and getting better at it. And yeah, this is the best we can do right now.
Yeah. Honestly, on my end though, I'm just like, yeah, like episode 10, it may feel like a lot, but we're only getting started. But I've honestly learned that there really is an art to articulating yourself and actually communicating
Yeah,
ideas and whatever it is. It's not just a matter of opening your mouth and yapping.
cause.
You have to come on now. Like you have to actually be able to convey your position and be clear about it. But one thing I really want to note though is we really have come a long way from the background noises and the car hooters and the knocks on doors and the bad
Oh my
sound
God,
quality.
bro.
Like if you go back to those first 2 or
Yeah,
3 episodes, like there's a significant improvement. So yeah, man, I'm
exactly.
keen to see, how much further we can push this.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna take it further, bro. And I like what you said that we're just getting started and there's a real art in conveying yourself because also people need to want to listen to what you want to say. People really need to people need to be interested in what you're talking about. Like what you're talking about has to be relevant. It has to speak to what people want to say. So also just understanding that part of the equation was really important and eye-opening for me as well. And I'm sure I don't speak for myself when I say that.
Mm-hmm. No, 100%. There's definitely a whole technical approach to this, but we've I think we've definitely grown in a short space of time. And
Yeah.
of course, there's always going to be a lot more to learn, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, man, I'm really happy with with how far we've come, how we've been able to
Definitely.
address different topics, whether it's everyday things or politics or, relationships, whatever it is, we've come a
Yeah,
long way in our ability to talk about different things from different angles, which is always important, especially considering how polarized everything is these days.
exactly. We're finding that middle ground,
Mm.
we're finding that balance, that middle ground. And Luvo, thank you so much, man, for joining us as a guest on our 10th episode. I know you took time out, definitely. You took time out and you've always been enthusiastic to tap into what we're doing and show your support. So we really appreciate that. And how has your experience been as our guest for episode 10? And what have you observed from Not Another Podcast?
Well, for me, I'd like to just say, firstly, yeah, congrats, guys, on the 10th
Mm-hmm.
episode. As you say, Sipho, I've been following since day one since the first episode. I
Mm-hmm.
know, obviously, you did bounce around a few ideas with me at the beginning.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. For me, it's been an amazing experience. It didn't actually feel like we were on a podcast. There's this
Yeah.
normal conversation amongst
Mhm.
chaps who share the same interests. Like we always have these debates, me and you, Sipho. So it was like one of those,
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, I wish you guys all the best, man, and I hope that you get sponsorships and actually get to do this professionally, because podcasting is growing in Africa, and
Yeah.
podcasting is going to be one of those things that overtake radio, because
Yeah.
radio is very repetitive. They play the same music, they talk about the same topics. It's not innovative. Like it's not growing. It's not changing. Even though you can still make a lot of money off radio, but I think podcasts is gonna take over eventually. I mean, if you look at how YouTube is taking over streaming, people are consuming content on YouTube more. They are consuming content on Netflix nowadays. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I wish you guys all the best, man. And yeah, it was fun times, man. I hope I'll get an invite, in the near future to come and say my 2 cents of things. Obviously,
Mhm.
yeah. Please fact check me, because I do get
Nah,
excited sometimes, and say things. But
nah, it's
yeah,
all.
thanks, dudes.
Mhm. No worries, bro.
Siyabulela.
It's all good. Siamulela, it was like really, like you said, bro. It was like another chat with the gents. That's what we always do.
Yeah,
Always trying to find
Mhm.
solutions. We talk about things, agree or disagree, and you know, yeah. Thanks for the well wishes and like what you see the future holding for us. Sponsorships. Hollywood bets, Betway. That
Mhm.
came from a gambling man. So holla at
No.
us, man.
holla,
Throw
holla,
throw
We
yeah.
us a
made a,
throw us a young
holla at us.
chocolate. Throw us a young chocolate.
We are here.
We out here, man. We're promoting your guys' hustle. Bet on us, dog. Bet on podcasting. Luvo said podcasting is the future. You can make a small bet on us right now, and it'll pay off. We don't know. The house always wins,
I
so
mean,
go figure. Yeah. But yeah, man, that goes for any other sponsorship, man. We just I don't gamble, I thought I wanted to gamble after this. I don't think I'm gonna. If I do, mind your business. But yeah, this has been another amazing episode of Not Another Podcast. This is Sipo signing out. Ira, send you a
mhm.
few shout outs and yeah, we can wrap this up.
Yeah, man. Shout out as usual. I like to keep it simple. Call your mom, call your dad, go to the gym, eat good, touch grass, get off the internet. But yeah, thanks for listening to all four of our listeners. We appreciate y'all. We're gonna come with many more in the future.
Yeah, and stop abusing women, guys.
Yeah, it's a
Yeah,
never-ending
support the
issue in this
movement.
country.
And like, let's just do better, guys, because there's a reason women are really crying out loud, and why there's a campaign like this happening. So let's
Mhm.
just reflect, look at ourselves as men in the mirror, and anyone else like partaking in gender-based violence, man. Like, guys, it's Dini, we're
Mhm.
Sonke, we're all tired. So yeah, that's a wrap from me. Thanks again, Luvo and Ndima. It's been amazing again, and we will see you guys on the next episode. Stay tuned. Cheers.
Yes, sir.